Bruce Lee is a name that has transcended martial arts, cinema, and culture. But what many people still wonder today is how his real fights compared to the ones we've seen in his iconic films. Was he as unbeatable in the streets as he was on the big screen? In this video, we'll explore Bruce Lee's real combat experiences and how they contrast with the meticulously choreographed fight scenes that made him a worldwide sensation. From street fights to professional sparring matches, we'll uncover the reality behind the legend. Stick with us as we dive into the world of Bruce Lee, both real and real. The man behind the legend. Bruce Lee wasn't just an actor, but a dedicated martial artist who revolutionized the way the world looked at combat. He founded Jeet Kune Do, which is often described as the art of fighting without fighting. His philosophy wasn't just about physical prowess, but also mental and philosophical exploration. For Bruce, martial arts were a way of life, not just a way to entertain. Before Hollywood, he was a man who honed his craft in the real world. But how did this legendary skill set translate into his real-world encounters? That's the question we'll tackle as we look at Bruce Lee, not just as a movie star, but as a true fighter. Bruce Lee's real fights. What do we know? When it comes to Bruce Lee's real fights, we don't have the same level of documentation as his movies, but stories and accounts paint a picture of a man who was fast, efficient, and precise. From his teenage years in Hong Kong, engaging in street fights, to the infamous bout with Wong Jackman in San Francisco, Bruce didn't fight for fame, he fought to win. Witnesses claim he fought with blinding speed and power, dispatching opponents quickly with minimal wasted movement. Although these real fights were far less glamorous than his movies, they revealed the raw, unfiltered effectiveness of his martial arts. So, how did these real encounters shape his on-screen persona? Movie fights, the art of choreography. Now let's switch gears to Bruce Lee's legendary movie fights. These weren't just displays of martial arts, they were choreographed pieces of art designed to captivate and entertain. In movies like Enter the Dragon and Fist of Fury, Bruce used techniques that were drawn out for maximum visual impact. He knew how to use camera angles, slow motion, and cinematic techniques to elevate his fighting skills into an art form. While every punch and kick looked powerful, they were planned and rehearsed down to the last detail. In reality, Bruce wouldn't have the luxury of taking his time, but in movies, he created battles that were larger than life. Real versus real, the key differences. So, what's the difference between Bruce Lee's real fights and his movie fights? In real combat, there's no time for showmanship or fancy moves. It's all about efficiency and survival. Bruce's real fights were fast, brutal, and to the point. His philosophy in combat was to end the fight as quickly as possible. No elaborate techniques, just pure effectiveness. On the big screen, however, it was all about drawing the audience in, extending the fight scenes for dramatic effect. Real fights are raw and unpredictable, whereas movie fights are carefully crafted stories. But both showcased Bruce Lee's undeniable mastery of martial arts in different ways. Legacy, the best of both worlds. Bruce Lee's real and movie fights may seem worlds apart, but together they solidified his legacy. In real life, he was an innovator who challenged the martial arts community and showed the effectiveness of mixed techniques. In movies, he became a cultural icon, showing the world that martial arts could be both an art and a way of life. His real fights demonstrated his raw talent and practical skill, while his movie fights captivated audiences with their beauty and intensity. Together, they created the legend of Bruce Lee, one that continues to inspire martial artists and filmmakers alike. His impact is still felt today, both in the world of combat and cinema. Bruce Lee was more than just a movie star. He was a real-life fighter, a philosopher, and an innovator. Whether in the streets or on the big screen, his impact is undeniable. So, which do you think is more impressive, his real fights or his movie fights? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of martial arts and action cinema.